Welcome back, guys, to another video. Now with the F80 mostly done, I can get back to installing stuff on this car. So I think the last thing we saw on this car that wasn't a track day is when I installed the Alibaba front lip, side skirts, and trunk. And now I came across this GT4 carbon spoiler on Marketplace. Guy changed his mind about it, and I thought, hell, why not? I'm not going to say no to that. So need to install that, drill some holes, and maybe make a little bracket. Should use a little extra support. Then after that, we're going to install finally the Alibaba hood. Had been sitting on it for a while. I kind of want to do it in phases and kind of do the combination of things together. So you need to do the hood and then finally install the under tray. So I think first, to close the garage, we'll get the hood installed, and then we'll move on to drilling holes in that. Okay, need to take off center ones and the two side latches, get those two bolts, and should be good. "19 turns. Okay, been about 20 minutes just kind of messing with it, going back and forth, and I got it pretty good. What I ended up doing is just moving the fenders a little bit, because sometimes with hoods, even if it's OEM hood, to get it lined up perfectly hinge wise is just impossible, especially alone. So moved them in a little bit, like just enough to help the gap, but I really don't think there was really that much of a gap. I think the hood is made very well. I just think it's hard for one person to line up, you know, perfectly, and I'm not going to take 4 hours trying to get this perfect, but rather loosen up 210 mils and move the fender in, you know, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters. And yeah, what I'm going to do now is I want to see under here if it's just, you know, can I just take this off and this is like a protective cover? I hope so, because that would be very nice, which is why I bought this hood, to relieve some hot air. So gonna take these off and let's hope it's kind of nice under there. Okay, I mean, I could paint that if I need to, but it's kind of nice that I actually have a little cover. You know, if it rains a lot, I can just slap this on and not worry about it. Or I guess on the filter side. Actually, it goes right over the filter now I think of it, so that's super nice. All right, cool, we got some vents. Don't have to cut it. I think that might be perfectly over the intake. It's good and bad. So, see, I was trying to bring this in because I don't like seeing that sticker. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. Everything here fits very even. That's about the only part. And on this side, it's pretty good. Maybe right here, can bring it in a bit. And this is nice. All right, so maybe I could lower this a little bit, but I'm not here to make it perfect, here to get it on. So another thing I tend to see with these is the grill gap there. I don't know how people get rid of this. It seems like every carbon hood has kind of had that issue. Yeah, I guess it is what it is. I thought maybe if you make the, you know, you like push the hood down, maybe it's a little too tall. Could be it. I might try doing that, but then I sacrifice my hood fitment lines. I think I might actually have to come down a little bit, but based on this length, you know, oh, I guess I can actually, yeah, I'm actually going to loosen it, bring it down a little bit. So I think over time, yeah, this one's a little further. All right, so let's do that real quick. Okay, gonna call it there. I pushed the hood forward. Fits a lot better now, I think. Maybe a little off-centered here. Let's see, this one's kind of there. Yeah, maybe I can move it a little bit like that. But for now, it's pretty good. I like that I don't have to cut these. And actually, I think I saw a screw holding that, so I might just take that off too. And this is right over the intake, so it's probably going to sound a lot better. This side ended up moving this one in, and it's pretty good. Yeah, like a little in here, you know, so maybe I can move that out. But for now, good enough. I think we're going to move on to the wing. Okay, been going back and forth with this a little bit. I don't really have any documentation of someone installing it on like a CSL style. I think there's like 1 or 2 photos I've seen, so it's kind of hard to see position-wise where people are putting it. What I've gone ahead and done is I am 10 inches and a quarter from here and 8 inches from the trunk line here. So I think that's a good spot, and I do want it like pushed back a little bit compared to, let's say, Mr. Thick Whips. But I think that's a good spot. It's also, the green is throwing me off, but I think that's a fair spot. So I traced the outline of the mounts on here. I think I can measure the mounting holes there and then drill in. That might be a little risky, or I can put like a little tab of glue or something on there, but then I have to line it up perfectly again. So I think I'm gonna measure the holes, then drill them in, and hope that's the best option. Beautiful. So center hole. You know what, I'm gonna do the little glue trick. I feel like this isn't gonna be good. See if this works out, put some tape, and that's stuff I use to like mark to see if a bolt has moved after you tighten it. I thought it would be a little thicker than it is, but it's not, so we'll see. Okay, let's line up the front here. Reason why I don't like this is because it's kind of all on you after you measure it again, but I just got that shit on the money. Oh, I did. I did. All right. Okay, good news. they're both perfectly even, and one bolt goes into each. Bad news, the second bolt of each one is just barely off. So I'm gonna drill a little bigger hole, a little down, we'll say, to get it in. And it's, I think, both of the back holes, which is weird. And yeah, we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, just have to drill it a little bit up. Not too bad. Okay, my bolt ended up a little further up on this edge, so I'm gonna cut it a little down just to get a little flat surface, and then I'll probably build the brace kind of around that. Not sure if you can see, but now this can kind of fit in there with one little more cut. Got the brackets all mounted. This one's still a little loose because I had bought pretty long screws because I wanted to build something with this metal plates. So I might need to get shorter cap screws with all the spacers and all that. But put some washers just to hold it since I had some extra threads. And then we'll start looking at how to build a brace for this. Maybe, I think I might need to cut even wider here and then put, you know, like a 6-inch plate. And same thing here, and I would like to connect them. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I do have this spare aluminum, but I don't know. I mean, it could, something like this could work, you know? Something like that. That would be a lot of structural integrity for this fiberglass trunk. So we'll see. Let me look it over and I'll see you in the next look. So it is on. It is sturdy. This one maybe needs a little bit more, but I mean, the whole trunk is moving. You can see the flexing. So we'll see how it does. Now, it's a little janky, but it doesn't look too bad. So I had used this aluminum bar I had. I tried to use the steel, but it's a little too thin. Like, it doesn't actually support it. So ended up doing one of the, I think they're like 1-inch, maybe, aluminum spacer here. Ended up doing one of those behind this to fill that big gap. Then the aluminum bar, then like the 50 mil cap screw. And then here I did a big washer, a spring or locking washer, I think, and then little washer cap screw with the spacer between. So I mean, it's sturdy, so can't really ask for anything more. I would love to make something nice, or pay someone to make something nice that, you know, attaches to here. I think that's how the OEM GTS trunk wing is. This will do for now. It's pretty sturdy. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I think it might be actually worse if it was just a rusty, or a future rusty piece of steel. But yeah, it definitely is supportive. So I was actually able to get this on. I made a slit in here to kind of relieve the pressure of the bar, and got it pretty good. I mean, it's not the best, but it beats not having the cover on, I think, for sure. So I was gonna try and cut it here so you, like, the bar would be exposed, but I kind of just made a slit and I was like, all right, let me go test it out. So could have done it a little better if I was actually thinking of doing a slit, but works out. All right, going to put the car up and try and do the, honestly, I think the hardest part, the rear diffuser. Just need to mount these with nuts and bolts that I bought. They come with silver ones. I'm gonna put some black ones on, and then we'll see from there how it goes on. It's like one forum post explaining this, so we'll just have to mess with it. Got all the fins bolted down. Honestly, literally took like half an hour easily. Everything fit good. This one's a little funny at the bottom. I couldn't get it to fully sit straight, but you won't see that far at all. So other than that, pretty good. Got this. And yeah, I'm gonna see now how to mount it. Alright, so I have the two smaller brackets drilled, and one that's 7.5 inches long and one that's 8 inches long. So pretty much just coppering the forearm post, and we'll see how this goes. I couldn't really use a reference for where to drill the holes, so we'll see once we're under there how that works out. I got rid of this long second bracket, which is like the 8-inch one. It was like all the way down here, so not sure why. This is the 7.5-inch one. Made this a little more flat. This one worked out perfectly, and so did this one. So I'm in that spot with the 2x2x4, and then this spot 2x2x4. I took these out, put in the M6 like speed nut clips, so I can use long extended 65 mil Allen key screws. Then here, my kit came with these little L brackets. So I'm doing one L bracket here, one here, and then the opposite here. So then I'll kind of stick a screwdriver in and bolt these. So you are watching this ahead of time, drill out these if you have them to be M6. That way you can use M6 bolts. I don't want to take this off and drill it again. So I'm going to be using the OEM like 8mm BMW bolts. So here it is. I'm going to try and get it back up, and we'll see if this is the final iteration. Okay, this is the most ridiculous thing ever. So it's kind of impossible to get to those screws. I have this screwdriver barely on it to try and get, you know, I saw it for a second there, but you really need a longer screwdriver that's magnetic, or I have this that reaches, but it's kinda too thick. And this GoPro ND filters ruin it. So you kind of need like a very longer than this screwdriver, and I got rid of the 8 mils and I put in like these #2 style screws. So gonna keep on working on that, but it's coming along, we'll say. Okay, finally finishing up here. As I thought, the diffuser is definitely the hardest part about all this. So I ended up using the smaller L bracket I made, and then it's like a 2-inch, 2-inch, 4-inch bar on the left and right. That supports the whole rear end. In here, I think I was recording when I was trying to do it, I put those little like L brackets it came with. So I put one in the OEM existing hole here, and then I screwed 2 into the diffuser at each corner there, and lined them up, and I used those 2 big Phillips like screws that are like 2-inch. You can almost get an 8 mil in there, but I think this is a little easier. And if you had a skinny screwdriver, not this big thing, you can definitely just tighten it down. So that's going to be for this front part, and it is very sturdy. I think this side's a little bit lower, and I was kind of pulling this side a lot to get a second screw in there, but we will do some final adjustment on that later. Then I used speed clips all in here, which is this one and this one, and there's one more here, and you can see the diffusers have like a little dimple from where you're supposed to drill, and I think it's somewhere right there that I want to get eventually to hold this section up, because this is really the only section that has some movement. Everything else is rock hard, like not going anywhere. Then over here, this is going to be the 2-inch bracket that I made. You can kind of stick your hand back here and kind of feel for it. Oh, what happened here? Does that come off? It's coming off. Then move further down. The next big bracket, which is that 7.5-inch one, is this one. Again, I kind of lined it up over here and then found out where it kind of laid. Super sturdy. And then now we are on the driver's side. This is the other 2-inch by 2-inch bracket that attaches here. And again, boom, boom, these two. And it is very sturdy. It is not going anywhere. Maybe eventually I would like to make some sort of bracket to hold this corner, you know, as far back as here. But it's a lot better in the F80, I'll tell you that much. So it'll do for now. You know, maybe something a little further back just to hold that up. But for today's purposes, it is more than fine. And yeah, I think you can actually see this is the one I was trying to do. And there's an existing hole for it and everything. It's just a little hard to get to. So this, and then 3 more back there, and then 2 or 3 on that side. Okay, so just to go over some of the screws I used and you may need. This is a 1-inch metal spacer. It's actually threaded on the inside, M6, so it could hold it. Thought it would be nice so you can actually hold it up, and if the diffuser is kind of hanging, you won't have to worry about all the bolts coming out. So I use 65 mil M6 bolts. Those are the ones all across the edge, like closest to here. Or I guess like those 4 and then 4 on the other side. You're gonna need long 65 to, I don't know, maybe you can get away with 50 mil, but might as well if you're gonna order them. Then I used, these are like type 2 Phillips screws. This I used on the center part there. You can use this, or you can use the OEM 8mm bolts, but they'll probably be harder to get to. Then this is a 1-inch Allen head. I don't know what I used this for. I think I used them a couple times, but not sure exactly, but I know you needed them. These are M6 clip-on nuts, speed nuts, whatever they're called. These get replaced all in the edge of the trimming here, so you can mount these long ones. And these guys, so originally the diffuser came with silver bolts. I ended up going with these black ones, a little bit cleaner. So these are all the fins that get attached. Silver is just a little too bright for me, so this is like M6 by 16 millimeter probably length, maybe 20, with the matching nut. Also used these self-tap, I guess button head Allen screws. These are very nice. I use those all along the bottom to mount to the brackets, which were aluminum, so I don't have to have a nut on the other side. And these are very sturdy. I've used these on the 335 wad body, and they work well and hold up pretty good. So that's what I used hardware wise. It's kind of hard to see with this lighting, but it looks good. And the wing, you guys already saw, pretty sturdy. So I think that's going to be it for the carbon fiber additions. This still looking good. I now have another little project going on tonight, which will be in a separate video, but if you guys want to take a look at the next video coming up, it's going to be this bad boy. So this is a cage from Pinnacle Performance. I think they're in the United Kingdom. A guy local had ordered it in Alpine white, I think, and ended up selling his car and I bought it locally from him, brand new. And then ironically, the guy that he sold his car to had bought this wing also, and then he changed his mind and I bought this. So that's gonna be it for this video. If you want to see the install of that happening right now, go take a look at the next video I have posted. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this car, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one.